On June 18 at 1 p.m., I will also be getting married. Whoa, that's USIS Day too. Jenny, my sister, gave me a scornful sneer. The day and even the start time coincide with my wedding. What is happening? I see. So your wedding is only for relatives, right? Less than 100 people, so depressing. All of our friends, family, and coworkers are invited. It will be a lavish event. I wanted to say, do anything you want, but I refrained and said something different. I'm a 30-year-old office worker named Katie. Sam and I recently had our marriage officially registered. Sam is 3 years my senior. We convened for our usual coffee. We struck up a conversation as we kept running into each other there and discovered that we both like to read. We made the decision to get married after 2 years of dating. Sam, my husband, is a devout and kind man who works for a firm that deals with food. A month from now is our wedding. Now that the big day is almost here, all that remains is the preparations. Well, several of my pals are getting married in big, extravagant ways to lots of people. We chose to have a modest ceremony attended just by our relatives. This is because I don't want to expose my friends and coworkers to Jenny and my parents. My parents have always favored my sister Jenny above me ever since I was a child. Jenny and I are 3 years apart in age. Jenny has a really attractive face, even in my opinion as her elder sister. She has long eyelashes and large, sparkling eyes. She has a petite face and fair, transparent skin, giving her the appearance of a fashion model. She's really been scouted by talent agencies on several occasions, and she even did some modeling when she was a student, so she's kind of a local star. She brought pride and delight to my parents. Why does Katie have such a plain face when Jenny is so cute? This is the kind of stuff my mother used to say about my appearance. My father used to remark things like, "Looking at Katie's plain face just dampens my mood every day." My parents used to criticize me and compare us sisters. Furthermore, they would only lavishly celebrate Jenny's birthday or take her out on the weekends. They were always favoring her above me in their day-to-day dealings. Jenny knew she was the favorite child of our parents. She started to look down on me as a result. In the same way, our parents were forgiving of Jenny but harsh with me. For instance, why can you only get such mediocre scores? With reference to test results, my parents used to chastise me like way when I had mediocre grades. On the other hand, they would kindly tell Jenny, "You can do better next time," when she received poor marks. My parents' perspective on Jenny and me would totally shift in this way on everything. Katie and Jenny are sisters, but they don't look alike at all. My father would frequently remark, "I never intended to become a mother to Katie." It was not unusual to hear such critical remarks every day. It wasn't a family I wanted to be born into, either. I used to talk back to my parents in my heart if they treated me poorly. Because she was given extra attention by our parents, Jenny grew up to be a self-centered, diva-like person. Her personality is the worst, despite her gorgeous features. "Sis, you don't resemble me at all." Jenny would say things like, "I'm so glad I don't resemble you with your shabby face," on purpose to make fun of me. I didn't want to introduce my family to Sam or his parents, since that's how my family operates. Even though I didn't go into much depth, Sam and his parents appeared to understand the issue. When I stated, I want a small, intimate wedding, they accommodated my request. On the other hand, my parents suggested, at least let us greet them, after our marriage was finalized. They insisted that the two families get together. Even though it made me uncomfortable, I had to set up a meeting between the two families. Jenny and my parents arrived on my side of the meeting day. Sam's parents joined in as well, and we all shared a dinner. I was unable to unwind because I was afraid my sister or parents might say something odd. This prevented me from savoring the opulent dinner. Despite the fact that this meeting was intended to prepare for our marriage, my parents had little interest in Sam. They would just hum to indicate the end of our conversations, regardless of our attempts to discuss how we met or our future plans after marriage. But when it came time to present Jenny, my parents leaned forward and spoke without stopping. All they could do was praise Jenny in front of Sam's parents. Sam's parents would quickly shift the topic back to Jenny, even when they made a nice attempt to redirect the subject towards me. But more importantly, this is how our Jenny looks. Jenny exclaimed with joy, "Oh, Mom and Dad, you're praising me too much," as she was thrilled to be complimented in front of others. I know there's not much to discuss about Katie, but after my parents and Jenny had improper conversations, Sam's parents, who had earlier been grinning, were now wearing uncomfortable looks. My parents and Jenny appeared content after eating as much as they wanted and engaging in one-sided conversation about Jenny. However, they soon departed, looking a little unhappy. Not even "congratulations on your marriage" was said. I was frustrated with Jenny and my parents, but I was also a little lonely. Sam then hurried around to my side and wrapped a kind arm over my shoulders. "Although I knew a little bit about your parents, I didn't anticipate it being this horrible. Katie, I know you've had a difficult time throughout the years." "Katie, it must have been really hard for you all this time," my mother-in-law went on. "Having you as our daughter-in-law makes us very pleased. Please consider us to be your true parents going forward, and don't be afraid to come to us for anything." Paul and Laura, I'm so grateful. Sam and his parents' good comments relieved me, so I thanked them. I then inquired about the wedding with my in-laws. "I'd like to keep it small, considering my parents and Jenny. I'm also nervous about inviting friends, so is it okay if we simply have family attend the ceremony?" Sam had previously agreed when I informed him about this. Naturally, that's all right. I was glad to have my in-laws support my concept as well. We made our wedding arrangements in this manner. One day, with the wedding coming up soon, I received some startling news. Jenny is tying the knot. Come home soon. Her fiancé is arriving today. This was spoken abruptly by my father, who doesn't often call, so I rushed over to my parents' house. My parents, Jenny, and her fiancé were present when I got there. The fiancé's visage gave me the impression that I had seen him someplace before. "Hello, Katie. Wow, I'm so surprised that you're Jenny's older sister. I never would have guessed. Tommy, you're my sister's fiancé. I'm surprised too. Jenny's fiancé's name is Tommy Smith. He's an employee at one of my company's business partners. When I heard your name from Jenny, I thought it might be someone with the same name. I never imagined you were actually sisters. After all, you and Jenny don't look alike at all." He looked me up and down and laughed mockingly. He's like this at work too, always looking down on me. It seems he looks down on me because I'm a high school graduate and didn't go to university. You don't need university. Start working right after high school. Because my parents said things like this to me, I started working at my current company right after graduating from high school. Tommy apparently graduated from a famous university and is the type of man who judges people solely based on their academic background. A man like him is going to become family. I couldn't accept the reality that Tommy was Jenny's fiancé. The atmosphere was terrible, so I wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. "Congratulations on your engagement. I'll be leaving now." I said just this one thing and tried to leave. But then Jenny said something unbelievable. "We've decided to have our wedding on the same day as yours, June 18th, starting at 1:00 p.m., Tommy continued. "Unlike your wedding, ours will be a grand affair." The two of them looked at each other and smirked. I was shocked by their statements, and my mind went blank. I had reserved the largest venue in the area. It's a big venue where multiple couples can have their ceremonies in a day. Although I had initially thought about a smaller venue for our small ceremony, my in-laws recommended this place, saying it would be perfect for our special day. If Jenny wants to have a grand wedding, I can understand why this venue might be a candidate. Well, it's understandable that the date might overlap since it's a popular day for weddings. Deliberately matching the time seems like nothing but harassment. Sis, you've gone all stiff. Are you even listening? Katie, are you okay? Faced with the two of them asking in a pretentious manner, I tried to stay as calm as possible. I took a deep breath and asked, "What are you thinking, having your wedding on the same day and at the same time as mine? Besides, how are Mom, Dad, and the relatives going to attend both weddings?" "Mom, Dad, and all the relatives will attend our wedding," Jenny answered confidently. To be honest, I had expected this. Even without being told, my parents have always been on Jenny's side. Right there and then, they started calling all the relatives, asking them to attend Jenny's wedding. I've met our relatives several times over the years, but our parents have always lied to them, portraying me as the sister with a bad personality and Jenny as the sweet and cute one. So all the relatives are on Jenny's side this time too. When they learned that Jenny and I'd had our weddings on the same day and time, they thought that I, the sister with the bad personality, was harassing Jenny. "Katie, you're being so immature. I'll be attending Jenny's wedding," the relatives said this one after another. As a result, my parents and all the relatives decided to attend Jenny's wedding. Well, it was within my expectations, but the shock was so great that I was left speechless. Seeing me like this, my parents and Jenny had triumphant expressions on their faces. "Sigh, I understand. I'm going home now." I gave up on arguing back and let out a sigh. Even though I said I was leaving, no one came to see me off. With the sound of my parents and Jenny's laughter behind the door, I left my parents' house. After returning home, I apologized to Sam and his parents. "I'm sorry. Even though I wanted a wedding with just family, my parents and relatives won't be able to come." However, the three of them comforted me, saying they didn't mind at all. "Since we'll have fewer guests, we can make the food more luxurious." Sam said this, trying to cheer me up. I felt relieved by the kindness of Sam and his parents. Then on the day of the wedding, relatives who were attending Jenny's wedding had gathered at the venue. "Oh, isn't that Katie? How inconsiderate to have a wedding on the same day as Jenny. And as always, she looks so plain compared to Jenny." Every time we passed each other in the lobby, they would whisper bad things about me. Today, I'm going to have a wonderful ceremony with Sam. I decided to focus on my wedding and put aside these negative thoughts. During the reception after the wedding ceremony, my husband's talented relatives performed one entertainment act after another. Because of this, the venue was filled with excitement and a happy atmosphere. That's when it happened. "What's going on here?" My sister shouted angrily as she barged into our venue with her husband and his parents. "Jenny, what's wrong?" I asked my sister after having the reception temporarily paused. All of Tommy's work colleagues suddenly said they couldn't come on the day of the wedding. "You must have done something, sis," my sister, clearly irritated, accused me. Apparently, all of my sister's husband's work colleagues had canceled on the day of the wedding, leaving their venue with many empty seats. This is terrible. It's just embarrassing. Now, upon learning that the invited guests had canceled at the last minute, my parents became furious at my sister's husband and his parents. This had apparently created a tense atmosphere at their ceremony. My panicked sister, convinced that I must have done something, explained this to her in-laws, which is why her husband Tommy and his parents had come barging into our venue. "Our wedding is a disaster. So why are you having such a fun reception? I can't stand it. Jenny, please calm down. I tried to calm Jenny down, but she continued with even more outrageous claims. Everyone from Sam's family. My sister Katie is the worst person. She's been harassing me since I was little. Jenny, stop it, please. I tried to stop Jenny from ruining the reception, but her momentum didn't stop. More importantly, look at Katie's plain face. Don't you think the wedding dress doesn't suit her at all? Unlike me. She started saying such things in front of Sam's relatives. Katie has always been jealous of my cuteness and has been harassing me. Can you believe this woman is becoming part of your family? Don't you all find it unacceptable? She even went as far as to tell such blatant lies. Tommy chimed in, matching her tone. That's right. Actually, I sometimes work with Katie, and she's an incompetent woman who can't do her job. This is why high school graduates are useless. He started criticizing me, getting carried away. I'm sorry for the late introduction. I'm Katie's sister's husband. Unlike Katie, I graduated from a prestigious university. The company president likes me, so I'm sure to get promoted in the future. Now he started boasting about how capable he was. However, when he looked at my father-in-law Paul sitting among Sam's relatives, his face suddenly turned pale. His demeanor changed completely from the self-satisfied way he had been speaking just moments ago, and he started trembling in fear. Why is the president here? Tommy asked with a trembling voice. Because I'm the father of the groom. In other words, I'm Katie's father-in-law, Paul said. Tommy had his eyes and mouth wide open in surprise. Yes, my father-in-law is the president of Jenny's husband's company. The reception venue for your ceremony was next to ours. Before the ceremony started, I met some of your attendees in the lobby and heard that you and your wife were trying to ruin my son's wedding. Tommy was frozen, realizing that the president had found out about his misdeeds. Is it true that you deliberately matched the wedding date this time? Paul asked with a terrifyingly pleasant smile, looking completely at ease. Apparently, when the people from Tommy's workplace found out that the president was at the wedding next door, they fled before the reception started, thinking they would get in trouble if the president found out. No, that's not true, Mr. President. I didn't know anything about this. It was all my wife Jenny's plan. Tommy hastily started making excuses. Jenny had an expression of disbelief at her husband's sudden change of attitude. I would never try to ruin their wedding. Katie is an important client's employee. What I said earlier was all a joke. Tommy tried to take back his previous statements. Don't lie. However, it didn't work on Paul. He shouted angrily at Tommy. I heard from the employees earlier that you often make statements looking down on Katie. That's not true. Tommy tried to argue back, but perhaps realizing he couldn't lie anymore, he fell silent. Listen here. Katie is a wonderful woman. She couldn't go to university due to family circumstances, but that doesn't matter. She's been working diligently ever since graduating from high school. Paul spoke to Tommy. Despite Shirley having gone through tough times since childhood, she didn't let that environment defeat her and grew up to be an upright, wonderful adult. Unlike you, who judges people based on academic background. She's a lovely woman who can empathize with others. I was so happy that Paul evaluated me in this way that I couldn't help but tear up. Mr. President, I'm terribly sorry for what happened. Tommy quickly apologized, trying to get the president to forgive him. You're apologizing to the wrong person. The one you should be apologizing to isn't me, it's Katie. If you ever tried to interfere with my son and Katie's life again, I absolutely won't forgive you. Next time. Yes, sir, Tommy responded with a trembling voice. Then he looked at me and apologized. Katie, I'm very sorry. His appearance, cowering in fear of the president, started to look pitiful to me. I understand now. I accept your apology. Just please leave this venue. What's going on? Why are we the bad guys? Jenny, seemingly unsatisfied, was still grumbling complaints. Shut up. I wish I hadn't married you. What? I wish I hadn't married a man like you either. In the end, Jenny started screaming, and they were escorted out of the venue by the staff. Watching this whole exchange, my parents looked dumbfounded. They probably never imagined that the president of Tommy's company would be my father-in-law. Realizing they were the unwelcome ones, my parents and Jenny's in-laws hurriedly left the venue together. Although the atmosphere had been disrupted by Jenny and the others suddenly barging in, we quickly resumed our enjoyable reception. The reception continued to be lively after the race start, and our wedding ceremony and reception ended successfully. Paul, thank you so much for today. Your words really meant a lot to me. I expressed my gratitude to Paul. No, I'm sorry my staff caused such trouble. Katie, you're a daughter-in-law we're proud of. Thank you for marrying our son. If you ever have any troubles in the future, don't hesitate to consult with us. Paul spoke to me with kind words. After the wedding, Tommy was apparently afraid he might face some punishment for this incident. However, since it wasn't a work-related issue, he wasn't fired or dismissed. Tommy had been trying to flatter the president in hopes of getting promoted. But after his behavior of openly insulting me was seen at the reception, he could no longer approach the president as he used to. He had thought he was sure to get promoted because the president liked him, but that's now a thing of the past. He had also been telling his colleagues that he was the president's favorite. Now he's being viewed coldly by those around him and has become isolated in the company. Tommy had thought he was close to the president, but he wasn't even informed about who his son was marrying, let alone invited to the wedding. In reality, he wasn't the president's favorite at all, just one of many employees. Feeling uncomfortable at work and seeing his path to promotion closed off, Tommy blamed this whole series of events on Jenny. It's all your fault. He started making such statements and even became violent towards Jenny. They both blame each other, so their relationship has deteriorated. Furthermore, it escalated into a family-involved argument, with my parents suing Tommy and his parents suing Jenny. After their lavish wedding, Jenny and Tommy quickly divorced, and now they're both desperately trying to file lawsuits, each hiring lawyers with expenses piling up. From the wedding to the lawsuits, I heard that Jenny, Tommy, and both sets of parents are now living difficult lives. However, neither side is willing to back down, and they're both being stubborn, so their conflict is likely to be prolonged. After the divorce, Jenny returned to our parents' house, but our parents, who used to spoil her, now treat her harshly, as if their previous indulgence was a lie. Jenny, you're a disgrace to our family. Although she returned home hoping to rely on our parents, it seems she's now being pushed away by them. Now she's desperately trying to get help from me, insisting on how difficult and pitiful her situation is. It's all your fault that I'm in this situation, sis. Sometimes she calls with an angry, strong tone, and other times she calls with a sweet tone asking for help. Sis, please help your poor little sister. With hundreds of emails and missed calls every day, I've gotten fed up with it and recently decided to block Jenny's number. It's not just Jenny, even our parents, who have always belittled and treated me coldly, have started relying on me. It seems our parents invested a lot of money in Jenny's wedding to show off. They also bombard me with calls and emails with the same message. We need your help. We're having financial difficulties. Naturally, I do not intend to reply to them. I was so frightened that they would visit my house one day that I had been ignoring their emails and calls for so long. However, it appears that even the cost of their flight to be here is a hardship for them. They haven't physically appeared yet. For some reason, even Tommy's parents have been getting in touch with me. We would like to speak with your father-in-law directly. This is what their messaging is about. They keep getting in touch with me, even though we are strangers, and on a few occasions, they have even waited to surprise me in front of my house or place of employment. I informed the police about this right away. They've been showing up less regularly in front of me lately due to increasing patrols. I, for one, am content with my joyful life as a newlywed, surrounded by my loving in-laws and my adored husband, Sam. There is no monster-in-law situation to rumor. Instead, my in-laws have greeted me with the warmth of a true daughter. Sam's favorite flavors have been revealed to me recently by my mother-in-law, a food enthusiast. We all four like the meals that my mother-in-law and I make when we get together on the weekends. So this is how good lunches with the family can be. At last, Katie is happy to have the harmony in her family that she had dreamed of since she was a young child. You'd want to break off contact with a family right away if you had parents who treat their kids differently, a sister whose personality was distorted by this treatment, or a brother-in-law who discriminates based on academic background.